wherever you are on this Easter Sunday. I hope you had a blessed Sunday. I hope you had a great day. It's your boy CB the Dreamer, and I just want to welcome you back to my YouTube channel. Guys, I want to let you know something, that this channel is specifically dedicated to your personal growth. This channel is specifically dedicated to your personal growth. And I know it's a lot of people out there who are stuck. Maybe they're trying to figure out what their purpose is in life, right? Or maybe they're trying to maneuver, maybe they're trying to accomplish a specific goal or a specific task in your life. And sometimes what that really takes is somebody else speaking into your life. Sometimes what that takes is somebody else, just having a shoulder, to lean on sometimes. And I want to let you know that I'm your guy. That's the whole reason that I started this channel. And I promise you, as long as the good Lord continues to give me breath, that I will be serving you until the end of time. But once again, I just want to say thank you. I want to say welcome. Once again, my name is CB the Dreamer. And it's still kind of early, still got a couple of minutes. It's 5:57, but for those of you who watched the first video, we are dissecting and we're discussing John Maxwell's book, John C. Maxwell. John C. Maxwell actually happens to be the #1 leadership expert in the entire world who focuses on personal growth and leadership. So we're dissecting one of his New York Times best-selling books, which I would highly encourage you to read. It's called The 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth. The 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth by John C. Maxwell. Live them and reach your potential. So the very first chapter that we discussed and talked about was the law of intentionality. The law of intentionality. And that's basically saying, guys, like growth. Look, if there's anything that I want to be in my life, if there's anything that I want to do in my life, if there's anything that I want to have in my life, then I must be intentional about it. That I can't leave my life up to hope, that I can't leave my life up to just wishing for a thing, and chance is not a strategy. I have to be very strategic about each and every thing that I want in my life. Because look, I myself personally, I'm not gonna leave my future or my family's future in my employer's hands, because and I don't know if any of you, I see it's 23 people watching. I just want to welcome y'all. Hey, welcome to the live. I want you guys to drop me some comments. I want you guys to drop me some shares, some likes. Look, if there's anything that I can possibly help you out in your personal journey, that's me. If there's anything that I can help you out in your personal growth journey, we're all here to live. We're all here to expand, and we're all here to grow. So just drop me some comments and just let me know what you're trying to accomplish. What are your goals? What are your dreams? What are your ambitions? What are your desires, right? But a couple of weeks ago, we were talking about the law of intentionality, and we're dissecting John Maxwell's New York Times best-selling book, The 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth. Live them and reach your potential. Okay, so now we'll be talking about the second law in the 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth. And that's the law of awareness. The law of awareness. You must know yourself in order to grow yourself. You must know yourself in order to grow yourself. And John shared a very special story in that book where he shared a story of a famous neuropsychology case of someone who suffered from a severe condition that was documented back in 1957. And the patient's name was Henry M. Henry M. M is in millions. And Henry M. was born in Hartford, Connecticut, and I'm reading this from my tablet, so just bear with me. I want to read you the story. So Henry M. was born in Hartford, Connecticut in 1926, and he suffered from a case of epilepsy. that was so debilitating. He suffered from a case of epilepsy that was so debilitating that he couldn't even function. He couldn't even function. And at the age 27, he underwent an experimental surgery. Hold on. He underwent an experimental surgery in which parts of his brain were removed to try to treat his epilepsy. It says the good news was that after his surgery, he no longer suffered from constant debilitating seizures. In addition, he suffered no negative impact on his intelligence, his personality, or ability to interact with others socially. However, there was one horrible side effect to his surgery. He seemed to have no short-term memory. He seemed to have no short-term memory. He said after his procedure, he didn't recognize his doctors. He said he couldn't even find his way to the bathroom. And when he returned home, he would do the same jigsaw puzzles every day and read the same magazines without having any memory of doing so. And when his family moved to a new house, he could never remember having moved, nor could he find the way to his new home, though he remembered his old one vividly. When interviewed 30 minutes after he ate lunch, he could not recall a single item he had eaten. In fact, he could not remember having eaten at all. Henry M. was stuck in time. He was unable to learn. He was unable to grow and unable to change. And it says, what a tragedy. What a tragedy that was. And now John is asking us a question. John is saying, any person who wants to grow but doesn't know himself is in many ways like Henry M. To truly grow, you must know yourself. If there's any area in your life that you're going to grow, if you're going to become the person that you want to become, if you're going to do the things that you want to do, if you're going to have the things in your life that you want to have, you must be aware of who you are. And it says that you must know your strengths and you must know your weaknesses. You must know your interests and you must know your opportunities. Now, let me talk about strengths a little bit and weaknesses. Now, I'm the type of person who believes in, look, any kind of area of your life that you feel like you're strong in, focus on that area. Focus on your strengths. Don't really focus on your weaknesses, but at the same time, if you know what you're weak in, you can always make those things stronger as well, because sometimes your weaknesses can benefit your strengths. So he says you must know your interests and your opportunities. So what are your interests? What are your interests? What do you like doing? Right? What are your hobbies? What do you like doing? And inevitably those interests will lead to opportunities. And it says you must be able to gauge not only where you've been, but also where you are now. So you have to gauge where you've been, You must be able to gauge not only where you've been, but also where you are now. Otherwise, you can't set a course for where you want to go. And in the 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth, John Maxwell said that it's only really 3 types of people in the world. Okay, it's really only 3 types of people in the world. And he said that's people who don't know what they would like to do. And he said that's people who know what they like to do, but they don't do it. And then it's people who know what they want to do and they do it. Okay, so and look, I'm going to be breaking this down. I'm not going to be talking about that's true. And he says 3 types of people. There are people who they don't know what to do, and then there's people that know what they want to do, but they don't do it. And then at the same time, there are people who know what they want to do and they do it. So, and that really breaks it down. But this is going to be part of a 3-part series. So I'm not going to be talking about all 3 points, but I really want to focus on the first point, which I feel like in my heart is the most valuable. And that is the people that don't know what they like to do. The people that don't know what they like to do. So what is the definition of a person that doesn't know or really or truly understand what their purpose is, or what their existence is, or why they've been placed on this earth? What is the definition of a person who just doesn't know why they're here? And the definition is, these people are often confused. They lack a strong sense of purpose. They don't possess a sense of direction for their lives. And if they're growing, they are unfocused about it. It says they dabble, they drift, they can't reach their potential because they have no idea what to shoot for. They have no idea what to shoot for. Hey, look, guys, drop me some comments. Let me know what you're going through right now. If it's something I see, I got a couple of watchers, and thank you guys so much for tuning in. You are truly a blessing, and I'm grateful for you. But drop me some comments and let me know what you guys are experiencing, any kind of goal or any kind of dream or aspiration that you're trying to accomplish. But I want to ask you a question. Have you ever been with your friends or your family or your coworkers, and maybe you were hungry, right? Maybe you were hungry, and maybe all of you were hungry, and you say, you know what, guys, let's go get something to eat. And then you ask them, you say, hey, what y'all want to eat? And they say, I don't know, right? And do you be like, well, you hungry, right? And they say, yeah, I'm hungry. And then you ask them again, well, what do you want to eat? And they say, I don't know, anything's good with me. And then for the next 20 to 30 minutes, all of you are just sitting there like a bump on a log, because no one can make a decision. No one can decide. You know what I'm saying? And how about, let me give you another point. How about when maybe you ask somebody, or you've been asked, like, hey, what do you want to do with your life? What do you want to do with your life? Where do you want to go? What do you want to be? What do you want to do? What do you want to have? Right? And you ask somebody that question, and they say, I don't know. What do you think I should do? They ask you, they don't know. They don't know. They ask you, what do you think I should do? And at a point of time in my life, I used to be that person. At a point of time in my life, I used to be that person. I didn't know what I was put here to do. And so, like, sometimes I like to ask my family specific questions. I like to ask my family specific questions just to see if they're gonna make me think for them, or if they're gonna think for themselves. Think about that. If they want me to think for them, or if they're going to think for themselves. And by far, I promise you, that is the hardest thing for people to do in this day's time, is having the ability to think for themselves. You have to have the ability and the power and the potential to make your own decisions and think for yourself. Okay? And a person who doesn't know how to truly think for themselves is a person who doesn't really recognize their talents. They don't recognize their gifts. They don't recognize their abilities. And think about this. Your talents, your abilities, your gifts are things that come naturally to you. Things that already come naturally to you, that doesn't require any extra effort on your behalf. Think about it. What has somebody complimented you on? What are things in your life that people have complimented you on that said, you know what, man, you are really good at that. You are really good. You say, man, you are natural at that. You have to pay attention to those ideas and those things. Now, if somebody would have told me 15, 20 years ago, like, hey, Chris, you're going to want to be a motivational teacher, or you're going to be the type of person who wants to inspire other people. I didn't see that in my future. I didn't see that in my forecast because look, a little bit about me. I was running the streets. I was running the streets. Look, I was hanging with the wrong crowd. I was smoking weed. I was drinking. I was partying. Like, there was no way in my mind that I had any idea that I was going to be doing the things that I'm doing today, right? I just didn't see that for myself. But there did come a certain time in my life where I started to feel a certain shift. I started to feel a certain shift and a certain pull in my heart that I didn't want to smoke anymore. I didn't want to drink anymore. I didn't want to hang around the gang anymore. I didn't want to be associated with that. And my friends, they say, "Oh, you acting fun." They say, "Oh, you acting funny." And do you believe in God? Happy Easter. Yes, I believe in God. Happy Easter to you too. Thank you. And they said, "Man, you acting funny." Owen, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Blessings. They said, "Man, oh, you acting funny. You don't want to hang with us no more. You think you better than us and da 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 da." I said, "No, that's not the case, man. See, I didn't know what I was going through, but I just knew something was happening in my life. And a lot of my close friends now are dead or in jail. And look, they got this saying now that, right, they call the younger crowd the YNs, and all this stuff like that, man. Like, think about it, man. These kids are in school now. Kids are killing each other. They are no longer fighting. Kids are killing each other. And I just knew I had a different direction in my life. And one of my best friends right now who stayed right beside me, he's doing 30 years in prison. He's doing 30 years in prison for murder. So I just knew that I had a special calling in my life. But when you don't have a sense of direction for your life, I want to give you 3 points, okay? 3 main points. When you don't have a sense of direction in your life, you're subject to hang out with anyone. You are subject to hang out with anyone. You're also subject to be doing anything, right? And number 3, you absolutely have no consciousness of what you're becoming. So a person who doesn't have direction, hangs out with anyone, does anything, and has absolutely no consciousness of what they're becoming. And that's a very dangerous thing. That's a very dangerous thing. Now, on the flip side of that, a person who does become self-aware, a person who finally taps in to who they are as a person, they understand that solitude, number one, they understand that solitude is often the best recipe for figuring out who they truly are as a human being. Don't feel like you always have to be around someone. Don't feel like you always have to be around people and be around a huddle all the time. Because it's really hard for you to understand who you are. It's really hard for you to find your direction if you're constantly bombarded with people and just constant noise. Solitude is good. Number 2, they make sure to plug into environments and people who will steer them in the right direction so that they can become successful. And number 3, they make sure to look for and create opportunities so that they can serve in their local area or in their community. Maybe you're an entrepreneur, or maybe you're a business owner, or and you want to continue to level up and grow. It's important to have, I don't care what kind of level of success that you have, it's always important to be around people who are not necessarily saying they're better than you, but they're operating at a different level of awareness than you are. It's important. Look, I need a mentor. I need a coach. Think about it. I mean, some of the most successful people in the world have mentors and have coaches. Some of the most successful people in the world have those individuals who pour into their life so that they can continue to become who they are. Okay? So that is my lesson for you today. All right, I gotta go now. I sub. You are helping many people out there. I respect you. Thank you, Owen. Man, thank you so much, brother. It's truly been a blessing, man. I'm just a man on a mission, and I truly hope that this message has served you well. I want you guys to please like, comment, subscribe, and share this video. Once again, my name is Chris Brown, aka CB the Dreamer. Once again, guys, you guys be blessed and you be well.